Season 2, Episode 7 of House of the Dragon gave us some of the most spectacular dragon sequences we've seen in the entire show, but none of them can top the scene we saw at the very end with Rhaenyra having 3 dragons behind her. These 3 dragons being Cyrax, Vermithor, and last but not least Silverwing, which is by far my favorite out of those 3. But those aren't the only dragons we saw in this episode. We also saw Sea Smoke make his return in last week's episode, and he's in the very opening shot of this week, and he is ridden by Adam of Hull. Thanks to these 3 dragons joining Rhaenyra's forces, she now has a total of 6 dragons and maybe a 7th one on the way with the sheep stealer we saw at the Vale. Now with all these new dragons Rhaenyra has to her side, I thought it very fitting to call her the new Mother of Dragons, not because she did exactly what Daenerys did and bringing dragons back from the dead, but she has found a new way for dragons to be ridden and finding the dragon seeds that we saw in this episode. Since this is a Song of Ice and Fire, I do believe we will see the repercussions of giving dragons to low-born people, and Rhaenyra will have to face the ultimate consequence in the end. That consequence could be her life, or more importantly, what matters to her is the throne her father had given to her. Who better to take that from her, maybe her life or the throne she worked so hard for, than one of the low-born dragon riders she had just given a free dragon to, like it's a dragon bargain sale. After all this setup the past 3 episodes, I believe it's all gonna come to a big dragon battle at the end of next week's episode, and no telling who could be the victim of it. Just a fair warning to everyone watching this video, I am not a book reader and neither will I read the books while this show is still going on because I do not want to be spoiled. I do enjoy this show very much, so please don't spoil it for me, but if you do, I'm not going to be mad at you as long as you hit that like and subscribe button. I do have a theory that one of the new dragon riders we saw in this week's episode could end up betraying Rhaenyra and going to Team Green, but I don't have any evidence to it, but I do have a strong feeling it is Hugh Hammer who is the blacksmith we saw in King's Landing. I think Adam of Hull is probably the safest bet to stay on Rhaenyra's team, and no other reason than his father is Corlys and his brother is extremely close to their father. I think the biggest wild card out of all the new Dragon Riders is probably Ulf's character, mainly because I thought he did betray Rhaenyra in this week's episode, but really he was just luring Aemon and Vhagar to Dragonstone so they could jump him, or for me, I took it as they were trying to give him a warning, like, don't mess with this now, little bro, we got 4 dragons, you just got 1 now, what you gonna do? I am aware that Sunfire still might be alive, and Helena also has a dragon, but she has shown very little interest in riding a dragon, and not only that, but battle is a completely different thing than just riding a dragon, and she would honestly get smoked by any of the new dragon riders, in my opinion, even though they have very little experience. Now, if I had to make any death predictions for next week's episode, Helena's probably at the top of that list. And also, I have Bela for some reason, and I have no idea why, other than we have seen her on a dragon before, and I can see her going against Helena, Bela versus Helena. I know it kind of rhymes. It's like poetry.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme, every stanza kind of rhymes with the last one. Hopefully it'll work.
After such an intense season 2, I believe there's going to be one thing and one thing for certain coming in next week's episode, and that is there's going to be action and there's going to be blood, and I'm all for it. If you somehow made it this far into the video, then please like and subscribe because it helps me out a lot, and if you didn't enjoy the video, please leave a comment and tell me what you didn't like. Thank you so much for watching.